What if the love, passion, and romance in your relationship not only didn't fade with time, but actually deepened and increased year after year, and in fact, eventually expand you into ecstatic love? This is what I've experienced in my own sacred union. My husband and I are celebrating 17 years as this video comes out, and I've guided thousands of my clients since 2012 to experience the same. So I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 sacred levels to experience sacred union so that you can expand into ecstatic love with your partner that you were destined for. Welcome, Goddess. I'm Saima Karal, your divine feminine mentor, healer, and author of the best-selling books Goddess Reclaimed and Manifest Soulmate Love. I love to empower women like yourself to be and have it all from your divine feminine and flourish in every way into the goddesses that you were meant to be. You can find me at flourishinggoddess.com. And when you sign up for my email list, I will immediately gift you a beautiful meditation to start awakening 21 divine feminine gifts from love, radiance, abundance, intuition, beauty, magic. So come on over and be sure to gift yourself that. The first step to experience ecstatic love begins with you. It is sacred union within yourself. And if you've heard of sacred union, you may have learned of approaches that speak about the divine feminine and masculine uniting. So this is very beautiful and powerful. And yes, this is part of it, but it is just part of it. Especially as women, there is sacred union that first must happen in ourselves. And this includes your shadow and light. So before we can merge the divine masculine, the God within us, the goddess within us, right? How do we get to that place if we still have so much unhealed, if we don't feel worthy, if we don't love ourselves, if we have childhood, past life? In my work, we are very woo-woo. And we go through all the dimensions and lifetimes and timelines and past, present, future to do deep and profound healing, clearing, divine feminine alchemy. And this is so essential. How can we be in sacred union with a person when we have not united with ourselves? And what ends up happening, so many of my clients, when they first come, they're at this state where whether they're seeking love or in a relationship, there's all this pressure that they're putting on this other person because of their own unmet needs, right? There's a disconnect or lack of awareness of our own wounding. And so we are unconsciously seeking someone else to fix that for us, to be our hero, to be our knight in shining armor, to be the answer, to make us feel loved, seen, worthy, healed, whole. No one can give that to us, right? People always mirror where we are at in our relationship with ourselves. And sacred union is so beautiful. It's such an incredible gift that we give ourselves when we say, okay, in my desire to experience ecstatic love with another person, another human, let me ensure that before I go to them, that I am coming from my own wholeness. And so your wholeness requires healing. And this is a path I've been on since childhood. I experienced extreme trauma on every level, and it initiated me into first the wounded healer, and then eventually my high priestess path, right? I connected with the goddesses at a very young age, at 13, I was always connected to them, but in a conscious, my healing journey began at 13 years old to start healing in my body, sexual trauma and emotional trauma. And so this healing, right? To know yourself, to love yourself, to witness, to process your pain, your past, to come into sacred union. In my Goddess Mystery School, the Awakened Goddess training, we have a mantra that all of you is welcome here, because that is a 6-month sacred initiatory journey for us women rooted in the Goddess Mystery Schools of death and rebirth, letting the parts of ourselves not just die, but be transmuted and rebirthed into wholeness, like the most ancient story of the goddess Inanna. From the great above, Inanna set her ear to the great below. This is the sacred beginning of the descent that we embark on for our personal healing, right? And if this sounds like work, you're like, oh, I wanted love, and you're talking to me about personal healing. Yes, I am. Because just take a moment to reflect on where you are in your relationship, right? And not doing this work, it's like we're disconnecting from the deepest capacity of ecstatic love that's available to us. And it begins within ourselves. So we go through this healing, right? Whatever path you're called to, my clients, myself, we love the goddess path, the divine feminine healing path. So, this is my way. But however you were called to come into healing, shadow and light, Inanna meets Erish Kigal, the dark queen of the underworld. Sacred union is uniting your dark, shadowed, wounded self with your light self, with your higher consciousness, with your spirit, your soul. It's that sacred union. It's then also another layer of this because we're such multidimensional magical women. Another layer of this for us is uniting the mind to the heart. So divine masculine spirituality, right? Just as an example, it's linear and vertical. It's going upwards. We're reaching for enlightenment, right? We're reaching for heaven. We're trying to ascend into heaven. The goddess already is queen, goddess of heaven, earth, the underworld. She has, domain. She permeates through all realms. And what she wants to do is bring heaven down to earth. And she also wants to alchemize the underworld, your unconscious, your shadow self, your wounded self. So what this also looks like is uniting your mind into your heart. So instead of trying to go upwards, right, we are entering sacred union of dropping the mind. The sacred mantra of Kuan Yin, the Om Mani Padme Hum, is to go from all the busyness of the mind, just one of its meanings, and drop and center into the lotus of the heart. We're going from uniting mind into heart. We're so busy every day. Like, practically speaking, think of your love, your relationship, the one you desire, the one you're in. What if you brought your full presence? You got out of your head everything that you think about the person, the relationship, and really dropped into love, grace, and you saw your beloved through the eyes of your heart instead of all the conditioning and all of that, right? So what we're doing here is we're uniting, we're healing all the unconscious stuff into the purification, the rebirth, the holiness of your heart. And then you're uniting the heart into the womb, your body temple. So this is a huge place of pain and disconnect. It was for myself. That's why this journey of healing was so important and essential for me before I could manifest my beloved and then be in sacred ecstatic union since the beginning as a foundation. So I'm the foundation. You are the foundation. Your relationship to yourself is the foundation, but not in like just a typical self-love, self-care level. It is very spiritual. It is deep. It is profound. It is physical. It is body temple. It is goddess. Right? It is remembering yourself as goddess. My women, when they go through my mystery school, at the end, they say, yes, I manifested all these dreams and intentions that I held before I entered. But what I'm celebrating the most is I came home to myself. I know who I am, and I am the goddess awakened. It's called the Awakened Goddess Training. And so this is our sacred assignment, initiation, invitation before we can enter sacred union with a partner. To be in union with yourself. Shadow light, mind, heart, yoni, womb, body. And for myself, once that was realized in my own journey, that's when I could connect with the divine masculine. That's when I was able to heal enough to trust receiving the healthy, awakened divine masculine. It had to happen within myself first, including inviting like a new relationship with God, right? And I had experienced the most difficult and wounded part of the masculine with my childhood traumas. And so this was a deep and profound, not always easy journey, right? Of processing, of healing, of coming into wholeness, and then eventually embracing the divine masculine, but more importantly, allowing myself to feel worthy of and safe in trusting the masculine, God, life. And I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, getting to receive the divine masculine, that started with uniting and feeling safe with the divine masculine in myself. We all have divine feminine and masculine within us. And, spiritually speaking, we transcend this. Right? We are beyond gender and race and all these things, but we also here in the human realm. So these energies, they help us, right, to reconnect with the divine. So it's like the yin and yang. We come into that sacred union within yourself first, and then this becomes the foundation before you can unite with your beloved. Okay, if you're like, yes, Saima, sign me up. I'm ready to become my awakened goddess self, then come on over to flourishinggoddess.com, sign up to receive my beautiful 21 goddess meditation. I'm going to take you through your 7 feminine energy centers. We're going to start clearing the energy, some of the blocks and challenges you may have in your feminine energy, in your sacred union with yourself. And then we're going to activate 21 actual goddesses within your being. They're part of you. Their gifts are a part of you, but we're going to activate them. We're going to awaken them. We're going to unleash them. So come to flourishinggoddess.com. We'll get you set up. And there's even more surprises along the way because I love to shower and delight my queens. So then the next step is uniting with your beloved in sacred union. Now what's happening is because you have done this inner work to heal, to unite mind, body, heart, soul, shadow, light, right? Feminine, masculine, as above, so below. It's all united. It's all in wholeness. You are radiating. You are, if you're manifesting a partner, if you're calling someone in, you're not able to attract, or at least if someone like that comes in your field, you will not invite or allow someone who is not the mirror of your whole. I know this, okay, from personal experience. Before my beloved, I was in a really toxic pattern with a friend situationship, right, who asked me out and, we explored the relationship, but it was just a big hot mess. And we were mirrors for each other, right? I was going through deep depression and he was in addiction, and it was such a hot mess. But there were 2 really wounded people showing, like he was triggering all my insecurities and wounding. And I eventually realized I felt shittier being in that relationship than I already did on my own. So thankfully I had the courage to quickly leave, within a matter of weeks. But the impact it had was so profound and heartbreaking that it actually initiated me on my journey of healing even more deeply and really finding my wholeness and my goddess self. And when I came into this goddess self, healing, coming into self-love, sacred union, and all of this I just shared in step 1 within me, my beloved, who was already seeking me, so I met him through a friend. He liked me the whole entire year of 2008. I met him properly January, New Year's Eve at a party. And then we had our first date on September 17th. That's our wedding day as well. 2 years later, we were engaged. 3 years, we were married. And he liked me this whole time. But because I was not yet in my wholeness, I was not able to see him and receive him. He asked me out. Like, he was right there. And I was just not able. When I was in my wholeness, Eric, by the way, such a awakened, not only divine masculine, but human being. Like, he's the best human being I know. I look up to him. He teaches me to be a better person. I've grown so much with him. He's so incredible, strong, empowered, secure, confident. Just, anyways, I could spend 4 hours talking about all his incredible qualities and it would not be enough. So, yeah, okay, I digress. I love my husband so much. And my point is that I wasn't even able to see all his wonderfulness when I was not healed myself. Once I came into that wholeness, it was like, it was like something got lifted from my vision and I saw him. Like, he glowed to me. It was this remembrance and reunion. And that was really beautiful. It wasn't even sacred union, it was a reunion. When we finally came together, we pretty much just fell in love immediately. We had our first kiss on our first date underneath a blush full moon by the lake. It was so magical. Then we had our wedding pictures there and everything was magic. And he was already ready. I was not yet, but when I was, it was yin yang, it was God, goddess, it was sacred union. And that's the beautiful thing. So we then enter the sacred union as 2 wholes. And this is the gift you give yourself by doing that self-work first, is You can only be available for someone who's equally healed and whole. And Eric actually had done self work. He had his own path, but he was very awakened, very self aware, self realized. Um, and so this brought us together as two wholes. Now, not perfect people, for clarity. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. And we, especially that first year of our relationship, we were, bringing things up. We were still teaching each other things. But the point is that because we were so self aware and healed and whole already, that whatever was coming up, we were able to meet that through respect, love, compassionate, awakened communication and all that, right? So that helped a lot, of course. But here's the other thing. Because I had also awakened my inner goddess, the passion, the ecstasy we experience in love, in romance, everywhere we were always told to get a room. And 17 years later, we're still told that. Like my mother-in-law comes, to look after my son 3 times a week. I mean, not now. Now he's just starting school, so we're in a different flow. But since the beginning, she would come and just help me, and she would always just tell us to get a room. My family makes so much fun of us. We're called the lovebirds, and we are in that passion, that romance, because I am devoted to being a passionate woman, to being sensual, right? This is all part of it. So it was more than healing trauma. It was also awakening my inner goddess and being a fully hot-blooded, passionate woman. Just this morning, I went for a walk and I took note of all the beauty around me. I smelled roses and they smelled like heaven. I saw a bumblebee, enjoy the nectar from my lavender in my front yard. I saw grapes that my neighbor has said we can help ourselves to. And I just stayed with the grapes and went to the forest, felt one with nature and the sun. I know this sounds cheesy or whatever, but this passion for life, right? I had a breakfast and I put rose pills on my omelet. Yes, I'm extra. But my point is that me romancing myself, learning that from the step one, the first part of the journey, right? And that continuing that in my union, Eric doing his jujitsu and meditation, his divine masculine stuff. We are both extremely passionate, awakened, and that, of course, just pours into your relationship, right? And through life's ups and downs, through life's challenges, through loss and grief, and we've gone through infertility, grief, loss of loved ones, we've held each other as well. And then that's the other thing about sacred union is that when you're in a sacred union, two people who love and adore and cherish each other, when you see each other through life's challenges, and the longer you're together, the more you're going to also face together, the deeper your love becomes. The deeper your love becomes. And so how we've held each other, how I have felt held and supported by Eric through these years, especially through infertility and then postpartum and motherhood, I can melt into him even more and more. It's I just open and deepen and expand and allow him. As women, we need to feel that deep and complete trust, first within ourselves and our bodies and receiving the masculine, so that we can open to the divine masculine, right? And then when we're together as wholes, loving and supporting each other, honoring and respecting each other as wholes, as a woman, your heart, your yoni, your womb opens more and more and more to your beloved. So then you enter sacred union in lovemaking, in passion, in intimacy. I deeply know this because a 7-year infertility journey, for most couples, that would test your intimate life so much. And thank goddess, because of me being devoted to my sensuality, my sexuality as still my own, and my self-love, and we, no matter what happens, we are worthy of being happy and being present to all of life's blessings. This is my approach to my life. Our lovemaking only deepened and was always passionate, even through the fertility journey. And then through postpartum, your body changes, your hormone changes, and there were adjustments, right? Like, especially as a woman, we go through these initiations and milestones and changes in our bodies and our hormones. But when you as a woman continuously are sacred union, uniting over and over with yourself through all your seasons, that is again the beautiful foundation for your beloved to meet you there and also support you there as well. So, sacred union with that sacred partner is when two people are equally as united in their self healing, their self wholeness, their inner divine feminine masculine, their reverence and passion for life, right? Their self awareness. And it's not perfection, it's devotion. This is why I love that women who go through my Manifest Soulmate Love program will say that not only do they manifest as soulmates, but more importantly, they have the best relationship ever. Like for the first time, they were cherished and adored and supported and had a really healthy partner come in and had the healthiest relationship in life. And then they've gotten married, they've had babies, bought homes, all the things. They've evolved with me, right? I've been helping women since 2012. So now so many of my clients have, flourished into mamas and queens and their unions. I'm still getting pictures of vacations and celebrations and, being loved and adored by their beloveds. And this is the thing, it's not just possible, right? And first of all, I'm not available for, oh, well, a passion fades with time. Okay, the initial crazy hormone novelty that comes in, yes, that's there, right, in the beginning. But I I know our sex life gets crazier, wilder, steamier, more ecstatic with time. And it's all of this, right? It's like me being passionate, being my body temple, all the sacred union within myself. And then as a couple, when you go through things and you support each other, like how my husband has supported me through all of life's ups and downs, how he's been the solid divine masculine pillar because he's a man who's awakened to himself, who is whole in himself, right? That helps my goddess, me to soften, to receive, because I can trust him more and more and more. I feel more and more held and supported and loved through all things. And so it just overflows into your passion, your lovemaking, your romance, your connection, your communication, your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual connection and union. And that's why as the years go by, this only deepens, right? The more things you go through, the more you grow, the more you evolve together. And you're always doing that as two whole individuals in sacred union as a couple committed to that individual wholeness and your support, your love, your, just being there for each other, wanting the best for each other as a couple, as a team in union, that inevitably makes your love deepen, your passion increase year after year. And then this step takes your love to transcendent levels. And this is sacred union with the divine, right? When you invite the divine into yourself, your relationship, you experience God's love, Goddess's love. And I don't mean this in a religious way. I mean this in a deeply universal, spiritual way. When you have your own spiritual path where you connect with your soul, right? You don't have to do it together as a couple, but you, Eric and I have this reverence for life. We are spiritual people. We have different practices and approaches. We've done meditations and mantra practices together as well, but we respect that we have our own path. We have always felt that presence of the divine in our own hearts. It's part of our own way of being. And then we bring that into our relationship. When God enters your relationship becomes a vessel for holy union, ecstatic love. And by God, again, I mean goddess, the divine, unconditional, sacred love. So if you want ecstatic love, ecstatic, sacred, divine love is uniting with the divine. This includes, like, I always bless Eric, I just say prayers for him and from my heart, like always so grateful for him. And I'm like, thank you, God, for blessing me with Eric and bless him with this and that. And I just pray for him, I love to pray for him. I love to, and I have my own connection with the divine through my daily devotional spiritual practice and forever, right? And so it's like when I am in union with the divine, offering myself to be a vessel for the divine. That's why, on a side note, like I attribute the success of my business, my clients, everyone that I attract, the success, the opportunities to this union. And it's like because you want to be a vessel for love. You want my prayer is always, thy will be done, and use me, right? Make me a channel of your peace, your blessings, your love, your miracles for my clients, for my loved ones, and also my beloved. And so when we live in reverence, however you're called to that, whatever your path is, right? For me and my lady, it's uh, divine, it's spiritual, and it's definitely a goddess path as well, connecting with the divine feminine. It changes everything in your relationship. So what happens, like, since the beginning, I see Eric through my soul's eyes. And here's what shifts. His mom will say, oh, well, when he was with me, he never cooked gourmet food or, took care of the whole house or, like I was the first one he bought flowers for, even though he's a really wonderful guy. He just, I awakened that in him. I have in one of my other videos the story behind him buying flowers since the beginning. This necklace, for example, is a triple goddess necklace that he presented to me on my first birthday when we were not making much money. We were both in entry-level corporate jobs, and I did not expect anything like this. I love poems and art, and you'd rate me, but this was like it was so huge for me that he did that. But what meant the most was also that the three circles, he said they represent the triple goddess. And he saw the goddess in me. And we both love mythology and spirituality. So, that's one of the ways we connected as well in the beginning. And he saw the goddess in me. He said, I bought you flowers because when I saw you, I felt Ishtar rising from the temples, Aphrodite rising from the foamy seas. And he saw that in me. I've always seen his divinity. And maybe his mom didn't get that version of him that cooks and cleans or helps him, does things in the home. Whereas with me, he's like, oh, this is my home, or he's an extremely involved father, right? And he gets really low when men or his buddies say, oh, I'm babysitting. It's like, you don't babysit your kids. Those are your kids, right? You don't help in the house. That's your house. It's a man being taking care of your home, your family, your kids. This is a man. As it should be, I think, right? But my point is that we bring out the divine in each other. I really believe that that saying that, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And when you ask the divine, when you invite the divine into your life, into your day-to-day, and into your relationship, you see your beloved through the eyes of your soul. What can happen as the years go by is why most couples struggle so much, is that we end up seeing from the eyes of our wounding. So in the beginning, we all can have that honeymoon rosy colored filter. But when that fades, right, it fades because now we're dropping into the human, especially like the ego human, the wounded human, the unconscious stuff. And we're beginning to trigger that in each other. Whereas the foundation of sacred union within yourself, that connection, that reverence with the divine yourself, it's always helped us to see each other through love, through the eyes of God, I will say. Right? Like I see his soul. I see his light. I see his strength. I see his fullest goodness, not in an unrealistic way. We still help each other grow, right? And we're very human. But it makes the biggest difference to invite in the divine. So whether that's praying together or meditating together as a couple, or just having a shared reverence for life, a love for the divine, being in union with the divine yourself, seeing each other through divine eyes. This is what unites you in ecstatic love. You are, whatever pathway you choose, if you invite the divine into your consciousness, your day-to-day, your perception of your beloved, how you treat your beloved, it's like that namaste, the aloha that I see and honor the divine within you. I see your God self. And so why when we make love, as much as it can be so crazy and with the years, because there's more trust. So with more trust comes more exploration, more adventure, right? I just think it's like an ever evolving, ever deepening adventure, lovemaking with your partner. That's why I don't understand when people say with the years, marriage, it goes still because it's like, no, when you're married and, you trust and you grow and you evolve and deepen together as a woman, especially, I open to more edges, right? Like there's more to explore. We just get to keep playing and exploring because of that trust and that sacred union. And then also with that, craziness is the sacredness. You can have the most sensual lovemaking and the most sacred at the same time. When we make love, I feel it's a union of Shiva Parvati, of God, Goddess. Like sometimes I truly feel like we are in the cosmos. And I can feel like my soul is experiencing itself through its masculine self through Eric. Like there's this really transcendent, magical, higher dimensional experience we're both having of oneness. We experience oneness with God, with our own souls, with each other's souls, with our bodies, on every level. So it's ecstatic love, it's ecstatic love making, it's ecstatic soulmateness, it's ecstatic best friendness, right? It's ecstatic adoration, support, uh, reverence. It just makes your relationship transcendent. So this is what I am so grateful for, to have in my beloved, to guide my clients through for all these years and to cultivate, to devote to. It's not luck, right? It's a choosing. It's a choosing, and it's through that choice, a devotional path of the 3 sacred steps that I've shared here with you today. So let me know which of these levels you are being invited to today. And, you could be exploring all of them, but let me know if you're calling in this kind of union or if you're in your partnership, what you now feel inspired to deepen into and to embrace ecstatic love through sacred union. I hope this has supported you, and I would love for you to get started. Let's awaken your inner goddess. Okay, I'm here for you to be in that reverence and sacred union with yourself. So remember to come to flourishinggoddess.com and sign up for my email where I can immediately give you a 21 goddess meditation. I'm going to go through all your energy centers to awaken and activate your beautiful goddess gifts so that, you be that goddess that you're meant to be and call in the love, the passion, the ecstatic union that you're meant for. And of course, subscribe. This is a beautiful channel for women to awaken your inner goddess. There are meditations here. There's so much more coming. So I'd love for you to be part of our Flourishing Goddess Temple. It's been such a pleasure, Goddess. I see you, wish for you, and celebrate for you already. You coming into sacred union with yourself, with your beloved, with the divine to experience the ecstatic love that you were meant for. Namaste.